Which one?
Oh,
this one's and I'm like, we can walk backwards from a good plate. What does I mean? And the banner goes if a good plate.
All right.
The cup inside will come.
I mean, maybe. I don't think they mind. It's just, we're just paying attention to what you have to say.
I want something in the cup. The time is fast. So let me. Well, they won't know it's the morning, right?
I think they will. Yeah.
Yeah, cranberry juice is fine for the morning, right?
Sure. All right. What is life? All right. So, I just want to ask, can you tell us who you are and what exactly happened?
Can we start again? Because it looks like I'm making commercial for these people. I need to start. I need to make contract with them before I put it here. And do you think they'll contact me?
No, they won't contact you. I think you'll be okay. If anything, they'd contact me. But you're fine.
The contract to his side.
It's fine though.
Okay.
But so, who are you? What exactly happened, and where are we at now?
I am Daniel Mensah, and I'm a father, and I have 2 kids, and I'm married to 1 wife. Yeah. And I was in the US in '91, and for 1 or 2 reasons, not any criminal background, but for 1 or 2 reasons, I have to go home for almost 14 years now. And by the grace of God, I came back last 2 weeks. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So when everything took place in 2009, ending 2010, beginning, how did you feel? I remember that you were very collected and you were smiling and everything, but did you feel anything internally at all? Was it hard?
Actually, I appealed the case from the Sixth Circuit Court to the Supreme Court, the US Supreme Court. And my lawyer told me that, listen, Daniel, this thing is not going to work. They will deny it again. So more or less, I know that it won't work, but I was just trying to buy time so that I can prepare and make any decision. So when Supreme Court ruled that they denied the case, it wasn't a surprise to me. But then I had to be strong for the family, because if I break down, the whole family break down. So at that time it was not easy. But I thank God that He gave me the strength to be strong and console the family, and also plan how the family go on in my absence, so that things will go well. Yeah.
Did you ever break down in private, or that was not really
in private? I never broke down. To be frank, that's the truth. I never broke down. But the only time I broke down was when my daughter called me, Denzel called me in Ghana. Then, I think that time you have moved to Virginia in school, and Mommy was working in Connecticut. Then Denzel was left in New York, and I was in Ghana.
Yeah.
And it was like you know, we were all separated. A family that were moving together to Chicago, to Cincinnati, to Toledo, and now we are separated. So at that time, she was around, I think, 8, 9, 10 years. So she asked me, Daddy, why is it that the family is so separated, you know? And I tried to encourage her and console her that we'll come back together. But when I hung up the phone, that was when I broke down. I mean, I remember that was the time that I broke down. Yeah.
Got you. Well, how do you feel now?
Well, now I feel on top of the world.
Nice.
And I see that God is faithful. God is faithful. Many a times you don't know how He will come through for you, and you don't have to know how, because if you think about how, you never know how. But you just have to trust in God and believe that He will come through for you one way or the other. And He comes in His own time, and in His own time He make all things beautiful. It's never early, it's never late, it's always on time.
Cool. Yeah. Well, my last question actually is, do you by any chance remember the dream that I had in 2009 before everything happened?
Yeah, I really do remember that dream. And sometimes it's like, well, we didn't pray that much for this thing to happen, to scatter the whole family. But I think there are certain dreams that God reveal, you pray about it, but God let you know that, I mean, it's something that will happen, but then He will take care of you. So we really prayed about that dream, and we prayed that it will not happen, but then God allowed it, and He also kept us by His power to bring us back together today. Yeah, so I believe that God is faithful. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, Dante, if you don't mind, just hold this. I'm just going to close off real quick. Father.
Oh, you want to come in?
Yes.
Oh.
For those who don't know, I
right.
had this dream in 2009 where pretty much, because we were living in Ohio at the time, and the dream was this huge demon-like creature was chasing our family of 4 in a deserted parking lot that was like nearby. And when my sister and my mom ran one direction, I ran one direction, and then my dad ran another direction, and then the demon creature thing went after him. And I woke up and I was like terrified by that. And then my mom and my dad, they were like, what's the problem? I told them about the dream, and then they were very extra concerned about it. And back then I wasn't like super deep into dream interpreting and everything, but they kept on asking me, oh, like, are you having any more dreams? And I was like, no, like, it's just a dream, it was just a nightmare, I don't know, like, it's all right. But then Dad told me, like, I don't know how long later, but that's when he told me, like, I didn't know anything about green cards or whatever. And he was like, so, we were driving home from church, and my sister and I were in the car with him, and he was like, so how would you guys like to live in Ghana? And I was like, no. And he said, okay, good. And I was like, I was expecting him to give me a lecture about, oh, you should be wanting to, your culture, et cetera. But instead he went on to explain about the whole green card situation, how he's been trying to have his green card set and everything like that, and it just wasn't working, and we had to then now appeal to the Supreme Court and just all of this other stuff. So I wrote letters to TD Jakes, and Obama was president at the time, and I wrote to Oprah and everything, and it still wasn't working. And then one day we went to the immigration office. It was the 4 of us. Usually we go there, and me and Dante, we didn't really know exactly what was going on, but yeah, usually we go there. He goes in, talks to whoever for about 20 minutes, comes back out. He's like, okay, they gave us a new date, which is like 6 months later or whatever, to just come and go out. But this time he didn't come out. But 45 minutes later, a police officer came out and was like, oh, we've arrested and detained Daniel Mensah until we can get him the next plane back to Ghana. And we're like, whoa. And we're like, can we at least say like bye to him and all that? And it just, everything was just like breaking loose. Dante, my younger sister, and my mom just immediately started crying. I was angry because we all had no idea that was gonna happen. I remember that morning I was playing Pokemon on my Switch. Like, that's how much I wasn't expecting all of this to happen. But yeah, and you know, it was just a very hard time from there. I don't want to go too deep into it now while Mom is here, but it was very tough waking up in the middle of the night to her crying sometimes and stuff like that. And yeah, but the reason why we're doing this now is to actually celebrate that he's back for good. You guys already saw him in the profiling session video that I did some while back. I think that's actually my most viewed profiling session video. So even with the bad Wi-Fi connection and everything like that, and I think sometimes people have a hard time understanding your accent.
Yeah, and I like that.
ENFJ 7, social, sexual, by the way. But yeah, we are just very happy to be reunited as a family. And what you're gonna see next is a cut up. So he made a whole documentary, but this is my cut up version of it for you guys to be able to see like some glimpses of how everything's happened. We celebrated here in New York, October 23rd, 29th. Yeah, he arrived here October 19th, and then we celebrated here in New York just yesterday, his return. So that's all. For those who've been wondering, why is Denzel posting all this stuff about his dad, and a whole bunch of people are like, oh my gosh, thank you, like, welcome back. That's kind of like the full story there. And so without further ado, check out the rest of the documentary coming up. And do you have any last things to say?
Well, the last thing that I would say is that I thank God and I thank Denzel, Dantella, and Mommy. Mommy is a medal wife now. I mean,
Medal wife.
Yeah, it's a medal wife. Yeah, she received the medal yesterday. The flowers, yeah. And we thank all the family, Jamila, grandmas, grandpas, aunties, uncles, and all of them. Friends and family, church members, pastors, all of them. We thank everybody. God bless you. Bye.
We ascribe all glory and honor to Jehovah God, who has kept us by his matchless power, grace, mercies, and love. What the devil meant for evil, God has used it for good and for the furtherance of the gospel. Elder Daniel Nana Kofi Puku Mensah, affectionately called Elder Nana, was called as an elder by Apostle Dr. Ebenezer Abebrese, former USA Area Superintendent and President of the Apostolic Church in 2002, to be the first presiding elder of the Columbus, Ohio Church after a prophecy through Elder Amuketri in 2001, whilst preaching at White Plains Road Assembly, now Thousand Morris Assembly.
I have known Elder Nana Poku for the past 22 years, since I went to the US as the church's missionary in 1999. He was worshiping in the White Plains Road Assembly, and he and his family, his wife Linda, and they had some kids, and the sisters, they were all worshiping in the assembly. And as the new pastor for the place, it was important for me to find out who the members were, and I used to call them on the phone and usually followed up to see where they were living. New York is quite a big city. Most of the people who have traveled there, they take the church as their family, because most have left their families way back home in Africa. And so a pastor's duty required getting to know the flock he was going to lead. And that is what made me come into contact with Nana and his family.
Elder Nana apparently had no prior exposure to the work of God, not even Bible reading at church, after 6 years in church from Kingsbridge Road, where the church started. Elder Nana worked with Pastor Mark Ochre and the Presbytery to open the Cincinnati Assembly, and also helped with the Toledo Assembly. He later on also worked with Pastor Isampong, all of blessed memory.
There's something called the conviction of an apostle. I gave him a call one day, then I told him, after I had discussed with their pastor, I called him, then I said, Nana, I'll be coming there, God willing, in the next few weeks. I think it was 2-3 weeks after. And I want you to start praying because I have a conviction that you are an elder in the body of Christ. So when I went among the people that I set apart for various offices, he was also set apart as an elder. And his pastor chose him to become the presiding elder after consenting with me. So that confirms the conviction.
Elder Nana was appointed USA Area Finance Secretary, then later USA Area Finance Chairman, working with the Area Apostle Abebrese and Area Auditor Apostle Dr. Kobna Ikufu. Elder Nana later continued as Area Finance Chairman, working with Area Apostle J.O. Boateng and Apostle Ben Lomote. Elder Nana was later appointed as the USA Area Men's Leader, working with Pastor Daniel Korte, who is now Senior Minister and USA Area Superintendent and Thousand Morris Residence Pastor.
And I is a good man. He was doing everything with all his heart. Inti unsro bibia odebeshe na nansechi unim se uyi weni kra it will be done. Sa no de ko Ohio. Ma Ohio are sorry no, even though it was a new church. Ebeye kese any enyin intem che most of our old churches no. Ni nyina no. The one behind it no was Nana Nenere. Oko Ohio no so nyame hira ne pa ye hu ya no wakosi a very big house. Inti ye drew Ohio pe ne yakora ho.
I actually was on assignment when I went to the United States. I was sent by the church, the C5 branch. I mean, I was invited by the Delaware Assembly specifically to the United States to help the church as far as music is concerned. So after my stay in Delaware, another invite also, which took me to Columbus, Ohio, and also Cincinnati Assembly of the church, which I embarked on the same thing. So over there, when I met Pastor Sampo, after, I think Elder was the presiding elder there. So after talking with Pastor Sampo, it happened that I had to stay with him. Staying with him, because I think I look at this man and how his involvement in the things of God, how active he is. Everywhere the man is there. And I mean, this is a man, like I said earlier, is down to earth, I must say.
By the grace of God, all was going well until January 2010, when the big storm hit the Mensah's family.
We normally do our morning devotions every morning. I woke up one morning, it didn't happen. So I was like, okay, I thought it's maybe one of the normal American lifestyle of living. You know, you wake up and the time you realize nobody's in the house, everybody's gone to work, and then you come back later in the evening. So later, and then I realized that mommy's going up and down here and there. I'm like, what's happening? Now that's not usual of her. So later, and I approached her, is everything all right? Then it was later I got to know that this is what actually happened to him.
When I heard that he had been taken to the detention center, I set off. Then I said, I will want to see him.
The family, which was always together, traveling from Cincinnati, Toledo, Chicago, Denver, Delaware, and New York together, doing God's work and opening their home to their godchildren and to other children, was shattered and separated. When Elder Nana, their father and husband, was unpreparedly taken to Ghana.
Thinking about it, why this happened to this man? Because this is a man so good to me. I mean, a man who I've been with, and I think everything is fine, doing his everything. So I was just wondering what exactly has happened. Because if our God is a faithful God, is a good God, is this and this and this, then why has this happened to a righteous man like this? Let me put that. Why has this happened to him?
I prayed. I said, what from this? What is the meaning of this? Then I got some understanding. Say, Bible say minimum adwene kra medwen ho enye bone de na emum de bema wa wie papa enye ma na Bible say obema na di aboye na wie yi enye ni nyina na ede. That's how I understood it.
Elder Nana unpreparedly arrived in Ghana on January 26, 2010. He came to live in Tema with his auntie Madam Elizabeth Kruger, owner of Rocker Ventures Limited, a company that dealt with food canning and export. Elder Nana was made the personal assistant to the director and owner, his auntie Elizabeth, whose children were all residing in abroad, so Elder had to start working just the following day.
I believe that when challenges come, that is not the time to abandon somebody because of a challenge. That is even the time that one needs a pat on the shoulder to tell him or her that, you know what, brother, take courage. God is still around. Our God is faithful.
To make things worse, Adjo had to now move to Connecticut to work. Denzel moved to Virginia because of school, leaving Dentella in New York and Elder Nana now in Ghana. Elder nearly broke down and cried when their 8-year-old daughter Dentella called him in Ghana and asked, "Daddy, why is the family so separated?"
When he called home and we're talking, he was like, I was down, trying to not to puncture certain areas for him to feel so bad. Or so I was trying to encourage him. And he was like, no, but don't worry. It's for the glory of God to be seen. This is what he told me. And I was like,
With a zeal for God's work, he started looking for the apostolic church close to him.
Apostle Abibese had given me a little bit of background, and I found him to be somebody who would be very helpful.
When he came, he did some he gave the word, preaching, and from the way he handled the topics, you could see that he's somebody who knows what he was about or what it's about. So I suggested that since I've been presiding there for about 7 years, by then, I would love to hand over to Elder Nana Poku.
Because of the distance and the rough road, coupled with heavy traffic, it takes almost 1 hour on weekdays for elders to go to church. Taxis will not go there except chartering it, known as dropping. As a result, Elder decided to take church on weekdays and taxis on Sundays to go to church.
He assimilated very well, and for that reason my family really made it a point, say, okay, and we made him one of us. I remember the Banku and Petridechi, and sometimes Mommy, may God bless her soul, will prepare these things and she'll go and keep in the fridge. And the rate at which you eat those balls, they will never get finished, even though you think that you should finish it quickly and come for more.
Elder Nana's flow with Pastor Samuel Boateng, who was a part-time pastor and the financial controller of the Ghana Ministry of Health, his mate's wife, Lady Cynthia Boateng, the presbytery and the entire membership, by the grace of God, helped push the work of God forward.
I had elders I could send to do some level of work, but seriously, he came to me as somebody who could be relied on when it comes to covenant life issues, you know, the salvation issues, the doctrinal issues. He could easily step in my stead when I was not around.
In 2012, Elder Nana was appointed district men's leader with unity in the newly formed Gulf City district. The district grew with new locals in Calvary, Glorious, Macedonia, Penuel, and other assemblies being opened. In 2013, a 4-story building structure was started to replace the old temple structure of Miracle Assembly, which was the central church for the Gulf City district.
Yeah, he was so compassionate about God's word. Oyobia, Odonyami Juma Papa, na owo timan suma nipa, na fesani otino, unti obia peso twin ben.
In 2015, Elder Nana went to London and Germany to visit his parents and friends. When he came back to Ghana, he was informed that Tema area had been given the opportunity to host the 2016 Southern National Ghana Women's Convention. Elder Nana was appointed secretary and coordinator to 15 subcommittees for the planning of the convention and reporting to the chairman, Apostle Dr. Iwanamina, who was then the Tema Committee 5 district apostle and now the president of the church. The convention had gone down in history as one of the well-organized conventions in the Apostolic Church. In 2017, the Tema area organized Area Women's Convention. Elder Nana brought the idea of the inter-district sambling competition to Saturday evening service to make it more lively.
Personally, I wasn't surprised. I'm talking about Tema. I wasn't surprised at all because I look at what he was doing there, his involvement in the things of God as at the time I met him.
Finally, the door was opened for Elder Nana's wife, Mrs. Adjoa Pokua Opoku Mensah, to come and meet her husband after almost 8 years of geographical separation with their children.
The best Christmas gift I can ever get from God besides Jesus Christ. God bless you.
It was a long-awaited day, so they decided to use it to renew their vows on the Christmas day at Miracle Assembly. It was beautiful and they had a nice time together as a family after 8 years of their long separation.
Amen. Papa. Papa, they are the 7 one and we knew Sandy out. Sandy Payne and you said, would you have would be any better? Sadio with one, Nina, Sikadi will be a bit many, and Subawi,
The wife came and it was super. It was like we had known each other for a long time.
In 2018, during the Tema area management meeting by divine selection and appointment, Elder Nana was called to take over as the Tema area presby secretary from an elder who had held this position for almost 30 years. Being an area secretary for the number 1 area in the Apostolic Church, it placed Elder on the spotlight for area and national programs. By the grace of God, Apostle George Akins, Tema area superintendent at the time, with Elder Nana Poku, came up with a good idea to celebrate the writer and composer of the apostolic hymns, the late Apostle Albert Kingsley Anderson, after 30 years of his death and never being celebrated by the church. The committee was formed and Elder Nana was made the chairman of the committee.
Lady Komona Okaso, Nyamede, program be at Tunakuma Suna, said the Usiayeno, Kora and Hymna Festival. Tino aka ho asema kire meda. Enje ho ana osinana bi be free so adura ba no. Asema anasa ade anyame to makoma so yi kire me no. Na me hu nani so papa. Tie ho ana ose ne bomodin ana oma omo ene apostolandes ye adwuma no. Ubehu no boabo oma no na mu form committee na yen sha ase eni sa adwuma.
The committee went to see Lady Mary Anderson, the wife of the late Apostle Anderson, who is still alive, and their children. The team interviewed the family, and Elder Nana compiled all the stories and put them into a book, which now has copies at the Apostolic General Headquarters archives. The program to celebrate the late Apostle Anderson was named King's Festival. The maiden program ran for 3 days, climaxing on Sunday the 25th of November 2018, with a lot of musical groups and artists, with special guest of honor, the president of the church and the Anderson entire family. The success of the program made the area decide to make it an annual program.
Say you can hymn festival, Reverend, the best chance say aye nyom and tontom nyom and come for nyuma ye peja ama yen ewrade nyankopon. I want to take this opportunity to thank the program committee, especially Nana Poku, Elder.
The hearts of the Anderson family were filled with so much joy that they gave the church the original organ and the accordion the late Apostle Anderson used to compose his hymns and his handwritten manuscript of the hymns. In 2019, during Elder Nana's second term of office as Area Presbytery Secretary, the Tema Area Mission House was demolished for a new mission house story building to be built. In 2021, after Elder had graduated from Marriage Counseling School, he was appointed Gulf City Marriage Counseling Committee Chairman. And in the same year, a committee led by Elder Nana counseled almost 20 couples, blessing their engagement and also dedicating a lot of children to the glory of God. In 2022, Elder Nana was appointed as the secretary to the committee of the most historic program called Heroes of Faith, organized by the general headquarters of the church to honor all pastors and apostles who had retired. By the grace of God, Elder Nana came with the idea of building a globe monument with the names of all the apostles and pastors. Elder was also part of the team that coordinated the compilation of pictures and information for the catalog brochure for the program, which contains a rich history and pictures of all the churches and now has the place in the church archives. Around the same period, Elder Nana and one of his school classmates from Opokuwari School, UWAS, spearheaded the building of a sick bay for the school by their 1978 group as a gift for their 70th anniversary celebration of the school. On 15 October 2023, Miracle Assembly climaxed its 20th anniversary celebration, and during the climax service, after 12 years of Elder Nana being presiding elder of the Miracle Assembly, he handed over the presiding eldership to Elder Joseph Kukekbo.
He had really been the pivot around which a lot of the things had revolved. Elder Nana had become a household name amongst church members, and you can't take it away from him.
The scripture says in Ecclesiastes 3 that there is time for everything, and in God's own time, He makes all things beautiful. Just a week before the anniversary climax for Elder Nana to hand over his presiding eldership, he received his permanent residence permit visa, which was approved and issued. The following Wednesday, the 18th of October, Elder Nana flew back to the United States of America, landing at JFK on the 19th of October with his wife, Mrs. Adra Nsafua Pokwa Mensah's birthday.
It was good we showed him Gulf City, where his need will be felt more.
We can confidently say that this is the greatest birthday gift Mrs. Adra Nsafua Mensah has ever received. Now it became clear to the Mensah family that this was the doing and the hand of God, and that God sent their husband, father and brother to Ghana by his own way to do his work and bring him back after he had finished his assignment.
My prayer is that he should stand firm and continue in the vision, because the end is near, so that we can all go there and enjoy. Whether raptured or we go before the rapture, we believe that heaven is a destination that we will stay together in eternity.
I will take off my shoes, turn on my toes, dance out the world, or any kind of dance. Come on.
Now our eyes have seen the Lord. It has made us stronger as a family and as a couple. To God be the glory for the great things He has done.
Thank you for taking the time to watch that video, and if you enjoyed that, please like and subscribe. It actually really helps out my channel a lot, so that more people who actually care about what I want to say can actually find me a lot more easier. Also, if you did enjoy it, then maybe you'll enjoy a lot of my other content as well, so be sure to check out some of my playlists where you'll be able to find a lot of my older videos and older content. And last but not least, if you would like any profiling sessions or coaching sessions, be sure to check out denzelmensah.com, where you'll be able to book me and you'll see the rest of my services. But thanks again and have a great day.